gloves are off, the heels are on. It's Let Me Finish with Emmy Award-winning sports reporter Suzy Shuster and senior West Coast editor of Vanity Fair, Krista Smith. It's not easy to get a word in edgewise, but they'll try. And now, here's Krista and Suzy.
27 hours to go till the NFL season kicks off. We're talking Vikings at Saints. Someone alert CTU. The situation with the Steelers. I mean, it's ugly already in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, a lovely town. Big Ben, not so much. Then Leinart, of course. We're going to go to Matt Leinart. What a waste of time, and from a waste of time to a waste of money. How about the McCourt trial? Totally embarrassing. And then we're going to finish up a little tennis, and nothing like a brawl. Nothing like a brawl at the U.S. Open. And then, of course, things that we love. But Krista, right off the bat, so we said that. 27 hours, New Orleans is getting ready. Drew Brees has already said he's going to start. Did you hear this? He's going to start by lowering his arm in the huddle, and then that's a signal to the entire crowd to chant the following, and this is grammatically correct. Who dat say they gonna beat them Saints? You know, that is the original who dat.
The Who Dat Nation, right?
The Who Dat Nation, and he got the idea from watching college football. But does anybody realize that that's not grammatically correct? That's not big in New Orleans, huh?
Yeah, I don't think that's really big in New Orleans, and I don't think that's really big on in football, because we all know from our friend over at the Jets, language isn't really their specialty over there. What would you say?
Yeah, Rexpletives, which I think is a great thing. That was not my idea.
All I know is I am devastated that I'm not going to be watching the game live, because I will be on a plane to Toronto for the Toronto Film Festival, where I'll be doing a bunch of interviews. And sadly, I will be missing the game, so hopefully the pilot might be calling the score out, but I'm terrified of not seeing that opening. But what can I do?
The reigning Super Bowl MVP, very excited about taking the field. A lot going on there.
What about your ex-husband?
So here's why I mentioned CTU.
Is your stomach in knots? What's happening?
Here's why I mentioned CTU. We know he's a 41-year-old. We know he's had his ankle surgically repaired.
41.
Soon to be 41.
We hope.
But here's my thought, okay? Two things. Number one, this is not a very simple ankle injury, so I'm really hoping he makes it through not only the first game.
Let me just interject right here. We assume that he got this injury getting hit in the last time he played, correct?
You can't assume anything. He's old.
But those were tough hits on that game. Come on.
I mean, he got nailed. And if it weren't for an errant slant pass across the middle, who knows, they might have gone on to win that game.
And they're going to come after him again and again.
Of course they are. Of course they are. But here's my thing, and that's why I mentioned CTU. You know how in 24 Jack Bauer saves the world over and over again? Nuclear war, poisons, a dead president, you name it, but no one seems to believe him. I mean, it's like that's the whole point of, you'd watch 24 and you're like, wait, it's Jack Bauer. Get him out of jail. Don't arrest him. I mean, all this craziness. So this is Brett Favre. Like, why is everyone doubting him still? He's the Jack Bauer of the NFL.
If you have time to watch 24 with all your Seinfeld, how do you get that in?
It's amazing.
I mean, is it in
TiVo?
TiVo? Yeah. Wow, must be a full TiVo. You know, Brett Favre, I don't know what to say about him. Listen,
he's great. How about that?
He's a great player. He has done a lot for the NFL. Blah 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 blah. But you know what? Let's see how it goes on Thursday.
So you automatically assume you think Saints, correct?
I would guess emotionally that the Saints are going to win, only because I think it'll say a lot if they don't.
Right.
I think it's more. I think it's bigger for the Saints if they don't win than if it is for the Vikings if they don't win. They can attribute it to many things, whereas I think the Saints kind of have to win.
Right. Because they're home.
It's their home.
It's hard
game,
not to win when
just
you're
like
home.
You said,
the who dat crowd.
Nation. They're the Super Bowl champs.
It's not who dat. It's who dat.
Who dat
with the D.
All that stuff.
Sorry.
Whereas I think Favre, he just learned to plow. He didn't go to training camp. All those whispers and all that stuff that's happening. And plus, I just think with the Favre thing, it'll get really, really interesting how it carries on and how he does. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. Being somewhat of a geriatric myself, I think it's great that there's a 40-year-old out there, playing in professional football. So I'm not going to hate on Brett Favre.
My only concern is that he really hasn't played much. Let's face it. I mean, he did go late to training camp. He did play a couple snaps of the preseason. They're holding him off. He's like that prize horse that doesn't go out there and canter around the track. They basically save him for race day, and I get that. I mean, I would do the same thing if I were the ineffective Brad Childers. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, you got to get the guy some reps before this game. Like, my only concern is,
by the way, his last pass in this game was an interception,
Right.
you know, last season, and that's what he's done the last 3 seasons. So here's in a nutshell for me with Brett Favre, I don't know how he's going to get that momentum. It will be a miracle. They will become the new New Orleans if he can get them to the Super Bowl, because the numbers that he put up last season were incredible. I don't know, the biggest in his life as a career quarterback. So how is he going to match that a year older, post-surgery? I don't know. I hate to be a doubter, but I think it's a really tall order, which is why I think he was on the fence about coming back.
No, if you look around at all the prognosticators, practically no one has taken the Vikings. I mean, everyone is really, who are the trendy picks? I mean, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
trendy pick right now to go. And I can't say as though I doubt them. I'm still waiting to see what happens with Brett, but the fact of the matter is I just, I can't wait to what.
I guess it doesn't really work.
No.
Jerry Seinfeld was never in jail for anything, was he?
No, but you know how it is on 24. I mean,
I've actually
it's like-
watched 24, Suzy. You'll be so happy.
He flew a plane with a nuclear
know.
missile on it away
I know.
from Los Angeles, I think. I mean,
Great.
come on. The guy intercepts poison. He breaks up a terrorist plot in New York City with nuclear bombs. What more can the guy do? And yet he's arrested. Every 5 seconds, he's like, yeah, I know. I don't blame you. It's like, what? What are you, insane? He took the guts out of somebody last year. I mean, not that Brett Favre's going to take the guts out of the Saints defense, but it might happen.
But that's it. He has to take the guts out of the Saints defense, because they have basically said, we are coming from you. We are coming for you. We want your head on a platter. Whether it's a broken leg or an ankle or whatever, these guys are not afraid to play hard.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to, I think that's the Saints, you know, plan for the year. I mean, they're coming out like no one get comfortable.
Yeah.
And especially Brett Favre.
Right. Well,
So-
we're going to talk more Saints, actually a disgraced Saint, later on in this show. But let's move on to another disgraced individual, and that, of course, is Ben Roethlisberger. A lot has come out this week out of Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, their head coach, saying that the job is not definitely his, coming back after a 4-game suspension reduced from 6. I personally was really upset that the NFL reduced it to 6.
I was too.
To 4.
Because we were dark last week and we were going to talk about that. I mean, why? What good behavior? What does that mean that nothing's been happening? Good behavior. How does it go from 6 to 4? What good behavior did he do? Check in with his counselor, you know, complete his anger management? I'm not really sure. I kind of was hoping for more of an explanation on what good behavior meant.
Yeah, last time I checked, good behavior was not pulling down your pants with a girl in a locked room with a trooper outside the door preventing someone else from coming in. But I'm just crazy and very East Coast that way. I mean, that to me is not such good behavior. But I thought that was, and I'm a huge fan of the NFL commissioner, and I was just surprised he did that. And I think what's interesting is, you know, so then we know that Byron Leftwich, their backup, had tweaked his MCL in a preseason game. So now Dennis Dixon, Oregon's finest, is going to come in and be the savior.
I watched one of the preseason games. He didn't look great. He threw a couple interceptions, but you know what? That's what they've got. And I actually love the fact that the coach is not saying, you know, oh, we can't wait for Ben to get back. Oh, we can't wait. Our real season's going to begin after the 4-game suspension. I think it's kind of great that he's on the fence about it and saying, look, this is our quarterback right now, and he's going to start, and let's see how he does.
I don't think it matters that he won a Super Bowl. I honestly do believe that this is a family-owned business, that this is a long-standing, tradition-filled family franchise, and I think he's in big trouble there. I mean, if I'm Big Ben, I'm not unpacking too much, because I really wonder if in the back of their heads they're thinking, this guy, this lout, this lech is the face of our franchise?
Well, I think they're thinking he got him to the Super Bowl 2 times, and that's all a franchise cares about. I do think that they're upset by it, no doubt about it, and I think the whole city is, but I think at the end of the day, it's football. But there is some good news coming out of Pittsburgh, other than Ben Roethlisberger 6-4. And you speak of the family, the dynasty. Well, it continues, but it continues in Hollywood of all places. The granddaughter, it's the marriage of 2 families. One, the Maras of the New York Giants and the Rooneys of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They produced some kids, and one of them is actress Rooney Mara. She's a young girl. She's going to be seen in a movie called Social Network coming out in a month. But more importantly, she got the coveted role, cast of thousands, worldwide search for the part in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo opposite Daniel Craig, your other ex-husband. So it's really pretty exciting news in Pittsburgh. Rooney Mara obviously took her mother's maiden name, dad's last name, kind of a funny name that now everyone has to say over and over again.
Rooney
Can't
Mara.
wait for Jay Leno to try that one on.
I know, he'll have her on. I'm sure he'll.
It's great. Anyway,
I just find him so unfunny. Do you like Jay Leno?
You know, he's dyslexic and I'm dyslexic, so I kind of have some sympathy for him, but not really, no. I like Craig Ferguson. I think he's really funny.
I'm trying to figure out the dyslexic thing. That's like me saying, well, the owner of Nate and Al's is Jewish and I'm Jewish, so I like Nate and Al's.
You've said that before.
You think?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay Leno bugs me.
I like Cher too. Cher's dyslexic too. I like Tom Cruise. He's dyslexic.
He is?
Dyslexic. I can't even say it. Dyslexic. Yeah. Yeah.
That explains
things.
You
miss that? You missed that?
I missed the Oprah couch jumping episode. No, I honestly like.
Look how cute she is. And her
She's cute.
sister Kate Mara also is an actress.
Did you read the book?
No, but I saw the movies. Read the book. Didn't I just tell you I was dyslexic? I saw the movie.
Good
what
point.
do you want from me?
Did you like the movie?
Yes, it's excellent.
Really?
It's a really good film, and I'm very curious how they're going to improve upon the original, but David Fincher's directing it, and he's the best.
A genius.
And Daniel Craig, great cast. Robin Wright.
Very handsome.
This little girl, so I'm looking forward to it.
I didn't like the book. I'm the only person on the planet who thought the book
That
was
and Eat,
so
Pray, Love.
obvious.
You hated Eat, Pray, Love, too?
Oh, Eat, Pray, Love. I'd rather vomit than see that movie. Oh, my God. I love Italy, and I couldn't get past the Italian chapter. Like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah,
I'd rather kill myself than go see
else.
that.
I think some people, I don't think it did too well.
You know what else didn't do too well?
Well, yeah.
Matt Leinart in Arizona.
Yeah, no.
Not so much. Not
he
so
is
much.
the Eat, Pray, Love of the NFL, isn't he? Wow.
You know what? He really is. His hair, he's got a wistful Julia look on his face there. There he is at USC. Of course, the Heisman guy at USC.
What happened, Suzy? This guy goes
National
from
champion.
5th year, senior, all the talk. I mean, we live in LA. You can't even breathe the smog without it having freaking red and gold in it for the USC Trojans, especially the part of town I live in. It's everywhere. This guy was a god. He goes to Arizona, then all of a sudden Kurt Warner basically seemingly comes out of retirement. They're playing one game, the other, Warner one game, Leinart one game, Warner one game, Leinart one game, then all of a sudden it's Kurt Warner in the Super Bowl, and you're just, what?
Here's the problem. Ken Whisenhunt never loved him. That's the whole thing, is the Arizona coach never loved him.
I mean,
he didn't play well. Here's the thing. What got him through USC was smarts on the field and not an overpowering arm. The biggest knock against Matt, and I covered him for 4 years at USC, the biggest knock was always his arm. He was actually very smart on the field and really could see things happening down the field, could really see the field envision and develop before him, but the fact of the matter is his arm strength was always the question. I mean, shock the world, but arm strength on a quarterback, I guess you need that sometimes. And that was what was so interesting when he and Vince Young were the two guys on the field for that final Rose Bowl, because two guys without great arm strength, but just different kinds of smarts on the field. He was, of course, typical, back in the pocket quarterback, and Vince went everywhere.
Yeah, but now he's making minimum wage in Houston.
He's making $626,000 to back up Matt Schaub, the former UVA guy.
Right.
And
but in the NFL, that you might as well be making, $7.95 an hour.
he was supposed to make $2.5 million in Arizona. I just think it's just such a waste of talent. And did he not want it bad enough? Did the money get to him? Did the Britney Spears late nights and a little bit of pole dancing in Arizona get to him?
Or is he just not good enough? I mean, is he just not good enough? Brady Quinn, what's happening to Brady Quinn in Denver? I mean, what's happening to these guys? They look the part. We want to will them into being John Elway or will them into being Joe Montana or Dan Marino, and they just aren't there. I mean, ironically, I have the most faith, and I loved him. I've always loved him, is Vince Young. And I'm really curious, like, he's still standing. He did great towards the end of the season last year, and I'm really hoping that he has a great year this year, because I think that if his mental state can meet his physical state, he could be a great quarterback.
Did I say he's going to the Titans or the Texans?
Who?
Leinart. He's backing up Matt. Did I confuse my states? You just threw
I'm
me
the one
with
that's dyslexic.
I know.
Houston. He's going to Houston.
Thank you. I just didn't. All of a sudden, I was like, because remember
all the talk.
Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans. It's all very incestuous.
But then they changed the Oilers.
Oh God!
Yeah, to a different name, and the Los Angeles Rams went to the St. Louis Rams.
I had to go do a story with the Tennessee Titans, former Houston Oilers, with Bruce Matthews.
I could never do that story, by the way. I'd see the movie. Is there a movie version of that?
No, but I did get Johnny Cash's protege to write a country western song about the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans. This show's all over the place.
All right, this is what I want to know. What happens to him in Houston?
He rides the pine. He backs up Matt. I mean, Matt Schaub's not exactly the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's got a rocket of an arm.
Right. Do you think he has a shot to actually play?
No, I think he's gonna. I think that Matt Leinart's officially become a backup.
It's a wrap.
I think it's so sad. Here's what's so funny about this. So Ken Whisenhunt saw in 2007.
Ken Whisenhunt, by the way. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
What?
Go ahead. No, finish.
I can finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. It's so nice of you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. So Ken Whisenhunt in 2007 saw Derek Derek Anderson, who's the Oregon State quarterback. He saw him as a Pro Bowler. And then Brady Quinn came into Cleveland. Brady Quinn knocked out Derek, but Ken saw him on the back of his head and said, okay, this is good. They just brought him in 6 months ago, and now he's the starter. It's just so weird and incestuous how everything's... So your boy Brady, whom you love desperately and all that stuff because you think he's cute, Irish, Notre Dame, not a great quarterback. But anyway, so here's this guy who now is displacing Derek, who's now displacing Matt, who played against Brady Quinn, Notre Dame USA.
I'm already lost. That's craziness.
I'm having such a week. I mean, this is just how my head is thinking, and this is how I think. Anyway, it's not good.
All right, we've had enough. I'm wrapped on Matt Leinart until something else
You're
happens.
over it?
I'm over him. I'm over him. Not quite. And you know what? I guess I got to tell you, as long as we're going to talk about Brady Quinn, I just want to warn you and everybody else, I'm about that far away from buying a Tim Tebow jersey.
Why don't you?
Oh, I might be wearing it next week.
Honestly, I would laugh my ass off if you came wearing a Tim Tebow.
Custom made. I don't know. I'm just that close.
If Tom Brady signs the extension to stay in New England, I'm still not wearing a Tom Brady jersey.
Yeah, but
I'm not such a big fan of women in jerseys. You?
Yeah, but if you do that Melissa Milano thing and you get the one that's like got a dart and a nip and a tuck and it's like a hoodie with fleece and maybe leopard print.
How about the Alyssa Milano collection to go walking your dogs on the beach? I mean, like...
Can't wait. I love it.
Come on,
I love it.
Would you wear the Alyssa Milano collection?
Of course, I'm gonna. If they make a Tim Tebow, that's where I'm looking. Like I think a little hoodie.
A little hoodie with like the fleece.
Yeah, maybe.
The pink.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh my God,
It looked great at Vanity Fair.
That collection.
Yeah.
Oy.
I can't even look at his face anymore, Matt. Get him out.
All right, fine. Let's look at let's look at two more faces.
Faces.
Like I said, from a waste of time to a waste of money. I mean, here are the McCourts, and if you are not tuning into this divorce saga and you like divorce stuff like Wapner, any of that crap on TV, if you think reality is fun, reality television, check the this is fantastic. We now have two people fighting over money that we're not even sure exists because so much of it is up in the air. So much of it is invested, invested.
Well, they're from your
houses.
hometown, by the way. They're from Boston. Billionaires that bought the LA Dodgers, right? They're in love. They've got 4 children, 4 boys. How many houses?
3 boys.
Count?
3 boys?
I think it's
4.
4. I'm not sure, but. They're rich.
They have 7 houses.
They're rich. 2 in Malibu, 2 in Beverly Hills.
They bought Courtney Cox's house in Malibu. Then they bought the house next door to it because they wanted to have that cute little pink house next door. They bought so the boys could have their own place to hang out in Malibu next to that incredible architectural on Carbon. They have 2 houses in Holmby, a house in the Cape,
which is where, by the way, Hugh Hefner has a house also.
Indeed. A house in the Cape, a house in Aspen maybe, or Vail.
Right. But isn't the whole gist of it is basically, this is what I've heard. She's kind of the brain. She was a lawyer at one point. She
went to,
I think, Harvard
or MIT law, something like that.
Wait,
let me finish.
Let's just discuss what they're fighting.
Let me finish. She's now, her whole thing is about, I should own the team. I didn't read the line that you guys changed. Well, if you went to law school and you're this smart, Jamie, why didn't you read the fine print? Like, I just don't get this. This whole thing is ugly. They should have settled out of court to drag them in. The Dodgers are bad enough.
Yeah, but if they could end up losing the team. I mean, basically,
they are going to lose the team.
That's why this is a news story. Is not that she left him for their chauffeur, who used to be the Davis's chauffeur, or that he is can't hold on to money and the amount of the checks and balances moving all the money around with the houses. It's just incredible that it's gotten to this point. And by the way, she's got one of the best divorce attorneys in the history of America, Wasser. So that guy, Dennis Wasser, is notorious animal in court. So I wouldn't give it out on her yet. But basically what they're arguing over is she says she didn't see the fine print saying that she gets the houses and he gets the Dodgers. And he says that her saying that is ridiculous because basically the houses were for her and he just did whatever she said and the Dodgers were for him. So I think somewhere in the middle there's the truth.
Right. I think they're both opportunists, and the fact of the matter is they came here, they were basically laughed out of Boston. They tried to buy the Red Sox, were turned down. The Red Sox were all about developing another park that he owned inland parking lots inherited from his grandfather in Boston. His grandfather was an original Boston Braves owner, for all of you paying attention. And so he promised to build the Red Sox a new Fenway Park, but downtown, but not in a great place.
Well, who wants to get rid of Fenway Park?
But he also didn't have the money to buy the Red Sox. Now, don't forget, the Red Sox you had to buy differently. They bought the Dodgers from News Corp. It's all leverage. It's borrowed money. It's like thin air. It's like monopoly money.
Monopoly money. It'll be
So
interesting.
are they
only in
fighting
LA.
over
This
Monopoly
is literally
money?
only in LA. I wish I could recast it. Who would you cast in this?
Glenn
for her,
Close?
Glenn Close is her. Jamie McCourt. He's tough. I mean, I would say William
Donald
Hurt.
Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland and Glenn Close.
He's not right. She's right. Glenn Close is good. Here's the problem.
I think William Hurt. I'm going to go with William Hurt and Glenn Close.
Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, well,
We need somebody beakier looking.
yeah. We'll think about it. Next week we'll have it cast.
Yeah, anybody's bored.
And by the way, send us in if you have any ideas.
Okay, now I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Who would play McCourt? Maybe an aging Ben Affleck?
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin Kline,
That's good.
right?
This is why you're Vanity
Yes,
Fair.
Kevin Kline is an aging Ben Affleck. I don't know how I got. We'll get to Ben Affleck a little later in the show.
Jamie's,
though, however.
I have to say this. She's very smart. She's dressed very nicely going to court. Simple dresses, no expensive
Michael
bags.
Kors.
Is that Michael Kors?
Yeah, well, she wore Michael Kors to the trial yesterday. I did notice that.
Right. As opposed to Martha Stewart, who would always go in with a Birkin bag, which
Yeah.
is like nothing screams you should be sympathetic
Insider
to me, like
trading,
a
like
$10,000
a-
pocketbook. I mean, fantastic. From good dressing
Yeah.
to bad dressing.
All right,
What-
there we go.
when did
Nice
it ever
transition.
happen? Thank you. When did it ever happen that in order to play tennis, you wore the most heinous outfits possible to show as much of your ass crack as possible? So here's Venus Williams, who did win the other day, wearing this
Okay.
most unfortunate explosion of sequins all over. She kept tugging down at her.
Well, that's
at her
really
top.
my biggest argument here, Venus, is, and this is a shout out to you. You're an awesome tennis player. You and your sister are so triumphant. What you've done for women's sports, not to mention youth everywhere, like your success is unparalleled. And I love that you're fashion designers. I think that's a great part of what you're interested in. But you got to choose function over form, and this did not function. The fact that I had to watch you play and constantly pulling down your dress, you're like me with Spanx. It's just not working, you know? You need to like do a little cute skirt or something. I love the sequence. I don't mind the color. I like what you did in France.
How about the
but you
flouncy
have to
skirt?
have it function.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I mean, she's going to get so much grief because she wants to express her, express part of herself and
she's a
wear
designer.
pink, and she's a designer, all that stuff. And I support that, but you've got to choose function. And that was just really annoying every second. I imagine it pissed her off too. She was like, about to do a serve and constantly pulling that down.
I mean,
It
you play
just looked
tennis. I
terrible.
play tennis. I mean, I want to be comfortable when I play tennis.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
wondering
want
if they
pulling
itched at
down
all.
sequins. They're sharp. It's
Yeah.
not. Now, how about another
But
girl
she
who's-
won, which is the greatest revenge. I
Well,
guess,
that's true.
right?
Another girl who's looking to show off as much ass as possible is Caroline Wozniacki. I think that's
But
how you
is
say her
she
name.
showing off ass, or is it just that it's
that's
canary
the
yellow?
No, you know what it is? First of all, that's
Listen, women's
That's-
tennis needs viewers. Let's face it. Women's tennis is in the doldrums. If a little yellow canary pan is going to
I'm
get
not
some
sure if
viewers.
flashing vajay is like the right way to do it. I just think it's inappropriate, and I just think there's nothing. I
Well,
get
you
it.
think that's
I get it. Your
inappropriate?
ass is fantastic. Your legs are gorgeous.
I'm not angry at that. I'm
Why
not angry
not?
at that. You don't think Sharapova with the white? What if that was white? Would it bother you? It's just that the colors are what's bothering you. If it was white, it probably wouldn't bother you.
I just think I don't understand why you have to call so much attention to your hootenanny while you're playing tennis. To me, it's like, women's tennis. I love watching women play tennis because there's some stunning women moving across the backcourt. But come on, ladies,
You're not watching it for
you're
fashion?
Pretty enough. No, you're pretty enough.
They're not
sweetheart.
pretty.
She's pretty.
She is, but I think she looks. I don't know. I like it.
I like her.
it.
Here's what I think is so funny about this chick. She's like, I always looked up to Anna Kournikova.
Right. Well, there you
Never
go.
won a match.
But she's got more money
She
than
never-
Matt Liner, Suzy.
right. She
She's
never
got a lot
won
more
a-
money.
Do you know this? That Anna Kournikova never
Never.
won one tournament. Not even like a crap
Well, she never
one
won
in
a grand-
Indianapolis.
She didn't
Nothing.
win anything in Indiana. I thought she never won a Grand Slam. I think she
She
won a
never
couple
won
little-
anything of record. She stunk. She's
St.
like, oh,
Louis
I
she
love
won,
Kim
I think.
Clijsters. I love Maria Sharapova. She beat Sharapova actually on Monday. It's
great.
Who was dressed more appropriately, but how about the legs on her?
They're great.
Those are good
They're
legs.
great. Those are good legs.
They're not like heavy Clijsters legs, poor
They're
kid,
really
but
good.
Those are good
Well,
legs.
she's also 6 feet tall. But Clijsters had a baby, and we love it that she's back out there.
That's true.
Okay, so come on. And
I
she's
know.
that tiny playing someone that big.
I always felt bad for like the Lindsays, who are kind of lunker girls, and I can relate to that being a bigger girl. But it's like the lunker girls, and then there's all these Russians.
I don't
want
want to see her in that outfit, but I'll look at this little
dresses.
wozy in this. Come on,
Yeah.
look at her.
No,
I think
she's pretty
adorable.
hot. Things we love. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. All right, Things We Love. We're going back to Boston for Things We Love. Fenway Park, actually. There's a huge finale in the town that takes place in Fenway Park. But Things We Love, Ben Affleck directed and starred in the movie The Town. I loved it. It was fast, it was old-fashioned, it was a great thriller. The cast is impeccable. Jeremy Renner, who won an Oscar nomination, or got an Oscar nomination for Best Actor last year for The Hurt Locker, stars in this, kind of as his nemesis / brother. Blake Lively of Gossip Girl does an excellent turn in this.
How's her accent?
Sister. She does well. She does
Better
really
than
well.
Julianne Moore in 30 Rock?
Yeah, a little bit better. John Hamm, you may know him as Don Draper on Mad Men, another fantastic show, and Rebecca Hall. It's just a great thriller. Go see it. And we're going to show a little bit of the trailer, I guess. We were going to show it. I don't know if we are.
I don't know, we're late.
Yeah.
I have to say that the nun costume is really bothering my friend's kids. He's very afraid of it. So I think, yeah, that shot right there, I just think it's
It's great. It takes all the place in Southie and
she looks a little Southie there.
In Charlestown about a bank robbery, and it's a great heist thriller.
All right, I'll go see it. I saw The American.
Ben's great.
I saw The American.
Yeah?
European pacing. I liked it, but European pacing is now my give-all for everything. Like,
I think
how
that
was the
means
traffic?
slow.
Well, it was European pacing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but I did
slow,
like the
right?
movie
Yeah.
a lot. So my thing that I love is really something that I don't love at all. I just want the opportunity to get upset about it. Reggie Bush, give your trophy back. It's so crap. Every day a new report coming out saying that the Heisman people are going to want to take back that trophy. You know what? Have some grace and dignity. Yes, Reggie, you were the best player on the field in 2005. I watched you. I watched every practice. I covered every game. The fact of the matter is you are a spectacular player, but have some dignity and just give the trophy back before they come take it from your hands via FedEx or something.
By Kim Kardashian. I'm surprised she didn't leave with it.
Don't joke.
I mean, I would have.
Yeah. Well, don't you think? I mean, what do you think she took out of that relationship?
Oh, Kim. I don't know. We're going to
Couple
get to the bottom of it
practice
because Kim Kardashian's going to come on the show because I'm her #1 fan.
All right.
Do you see her allure cover? It's really pretty.
It's selling a lot of magazines,
Yeah,
huh?
it's great.
Maybe she'll be on Vanity Fair next?
Possibly.
You heard it here first. Hey, thanks for watching. Have fun in Toronto. We'll see you guys all when Krista gets back from being glamorous with all the big names.
And football season will be back. We'll be in full throttle.